Greetings everyone and welcome back to Tauraco Railways. Today we're looking at another Hornby locomotive, and this model is R3303 and it is the British Railways early crescent and the 440 wheel arrangement, and it is the D16/3 and it's a Hornby 3P model. And this is locomotive number 62581, and this is a weathered edition by Hornby. Now if you look at the box and the box description, here we go, you will see that it's a Hornby 3P model R3303 BR early edition 440 wheel arrangement D16/3 number 62581 weathered edition. It's also DCC ready. This locomotive features some great cab detail, vacuum pumps, a reverse rod, and the wheels are great. Now if you have a look at the box, close look on the back of the box, you will see the history of the locomotive as Hornby always does, and then also the imaging or the layout of the locomotive and diameters and all that information on the right hand side. Now this locomotive also features some great finishes on the tender, and it's one of the smaller, very light tenders, and actually so light you cannot believe that the loco is actually performing this well on the layout, but it does. And it also features sprung buffers. Now the class D16/3 locomotives were a derivative of locomotive reputedly designed by James Holden, CME of the GER, but commonly believed to be the work of his chief draftsman at the Stratford Works, Frederick V. Russell. The original prototype locomotive was numbered 1900 after the year that it was built and named Claude Hamilton, after then Lord Claude Hamilton, 1843 to 1925, the chairman of the Great Eastern Railway. The 440 wheel arrangement, built, configured, were quickly followed by an order for further 40 locomotives, which were built between the years of 1900 and 1903 and were classified by the GER as 546, later to be reclassified as Lner D14s, but they were very quickly became known as Claudes. Then after these 546 further batches were produced between the years of 1904, 1911, and were fitted with Bell-pair boilers and classified as D56, later to become D15s. The final batch of 10 engines, this time classified by the GER as H88, later to become Lner D16s, were built in 1923 and fitted with 5 1-diameter superheated Bell-pair boilers and were aptly named Super Clouds. The D16/3 engines, rebuilt Claudes, were introduced by Sir Nigel Gresley in 1933 and were rebuilds of the D14, D15 and D16/2 engines, with superheated round-tapped boilers plus other mechanical and cosmetic changes. Out of the 121 built, 117 Claudes survived into nationalisation, of which 14 were D15s. However, the remaining D15s and D16s were quickly withdrawn. By 1949, a total of 104 D16/3s were in operation and proved to be efficient and equal to the earlier variants of the B12 locomotives. The withdrawal of the D16/3 class actually commenced in 1943, but during this time the Claudes were still being used quite extensively on the eastern region, with 8 Claudes being allocated to the Cheshire lines in 1949. Spares for the D16/3 locomotives began to become a problem, and by 1955 a more concerted program of withdrawal of the class commenced, with number 62613 being the last to be withdrawn in September 1960, nearly 65 years ago. Originally built as a Class D56 Lner Class D15 locomotive 1810 first entered traffic in April 1910. However, the Lner later changed the number to 8810 and then later to 2581. The first shed that the locomotive was based at was March, but by the time the locomotive was withdrawn from service in 1953, locomotive 62581, as it was then numbered, was on the shed at 32 Norwich, Thorpe. Locomotive 62581, formerly 8810, was eventually scrapped at the BR Stratford Works sometime after March 1953. So it lives on captivating scenes on model railway layouts. And this model D16 really brings heritage to this work and the mechanical engineering of the era, and it really adds authenticness to my layout era that I run currently. So thanks for joining me, everyone, on this great venture with the D16, and I hope you enjoy the content, and catch you later. Take care. All my best, Elizabeth.